Hello, grade 12. Good morning. How are you today? This is Patrick Kamala trying to get hold of you this morning. Today is the 27th January 2022. Now, we already did impulses and momentum videos. Today, I think we are doing organic chemistry, organic molecules, okay? And this is the first video for organic chemistry. So, if you are interested, you can call on this number here for video 2, because we're going to give the solutions for this exercise in our next video. Or you can come to our tuition center. Now, this introduction, please pay attention and try to understand what we're going to discuss here. So, organic chemistry. Now, under this organic chemistry, we're going to look at the basic organic chemistry, also look at the physical properties, also look at organic reactions. But today, being our first video, it is just the introduction. Now, this basic organic chemistry can be summarized in the following way here. This is how I summarize it for you. I have the basic organic chemistry in here. Now, I can break it into these parts here. One, IUPAC naming, which we're going to start with. And then we have the functional groups, they are 9. Then we have the formulae. Now these formulae, we have structural formulae, we have condensed formulae, molecular formulae, and empirical formulae, and then the general formulae. Okay. Now under that we have we also have hydrocarbons. Now these hydrocarbons, they are two types. We have what we call as saturated and unsaturated. Okay, don't worry about definitions for now, we are going to talk about them shortly. And then also have another terminology which is to do with homologous series, functional group, and isomers. Okay. Whereby these isomers, we have structural isomers, which include chain isomers, positional isomers, and the functional isomers. So these structural isomers, they're under these isomers here. So they include what? Chain isomers, positional isomers, and the functional isomers. I know it might not make sense to you for the beginning, but I'm sure as we proceed, you're going to have a clear understanding. Let us look at the terms and definitions in this topic. Now, organic molecules, these are molecules containing carbon atoms. Then molecular formula, that is a chemical formula that indicates the type of atoms and the correct number of each in a molecule. And then the structural formula, a structural formula of a compound shows which atoms are attached to which within the molecule. Atoms are represented by their chemical symbols, and the lines are used to represent all the bonds that hold the atoms together. That is in a structural formula. Then in a condensed structural formula, this notation shows the way in which atoms are bonded together in the molecule, but does not show all the bond lines. Note something, does not show all the bond lines, unlike in a structural formula whereby all the bonds are shown. Okay. Then a hydrocarbon, that is organic compounds that consist of hydrogen and carbon only. And then homologous series can be defined in different ways. We can say it is a series of organic compounds that can be described by the same general formula, or we can say in which one member differs from the next with a CH2 group. That is called a CH2 group. That's how you can define what? Homologous series. Let us continue here. Then we have what we call as saturated compounds. Now, compounds which are saturated, these are the compounds in which there are no multiple bonds between carbon atoms in their hydrocarbon chains. And then unsaturated compounds, These are compounds with one or more multiple bonds between carbon atoms in their hydrocarbon chains. And then another definition is to do with the functional group, as you're gonna see. That is a bond or an atom or a group of atoms that determines the physical and the chemical properties of a group of organic compounds. Okay. Then alkanes, that is only carbon to hydrogen and the carbon to carbon single bonds. In other words, if we hear the word alkanes, you must know that this organic compound contains only carbon to hydrogen and the carbon to carbon single bonds. We're going to look at examples shortly, don't worry about it for now. Then alkenes, that is carbon to carbon double bond. For them, they contain a double bond. And then the alkynes, they contain carbon to carbon triple bond. Okay, and then the alkanes, they contain a halogen atom bonded to a saturated carbon atom. So this halogen could be fluorine, chlorine, bromine, or iodine. Okay, then we have what we call as alcohols. Now these alcohols, the alcohols, they are hydroxyl group bonded to a saturated carbon atom. So when we talk about alcohols, it means we have a hydroxyl group bonded to a saturated carbon atom. And then aldehydes, there we have a formyl group. Okay. Then with the ketones, we have carbonyl group bonded to two carbon atoms. And then the carboxylic acids, they have a carboxyl group. And then esters, they are formed by reacting alcohols with what? Carboxylic acids. More definitions here for you to understand this topic, because it carries approximately 33 marks, approximately 33% out of the paper. So it has a lot of marks. Okay. Then we have ketones. We said the carbonyl group bonded to two carbon atoms, and then carboxylic acids, they contain a carboxyl group, and then esters formed by reacting alcohols with what? Carboxylic acids. Then the structural isomer, that is organic molecules with the same molecular formula but different structural formulae, whereby we have chain isomers, that means same molecular formula but different types of chains. For example, butane and 2-methylpropane. Then we have positional isomers, that is same molecular formula but different positions of the side chain, substituents or functional groups on the parent chain. For example, 1-chloropropane and 2-chloropropane, or but2-ene and but1-ene. And then lastly, we have what we call as functional isomers. They have the same molecular formula but different functional groups. For example, methylmethanoate and ethanoic acid. Let us proceed. Now we have got functional groups of organic compounds, and there are 9 of them, which you guys are supposed to know. Now these are homologous series here. This is structure of the functional group, and then these are examples of the compound. For example, one of them is called alkanes, and then the structure just is carbon to carbon or C2H single bonds. An example could be ethane, and this is the formula for what? For ethane. Okay, like you can see, this is structural formula. It shows all the bonds. So ethane has got 2 carbons, whereby you've got single bonds between the 2 carbon atoms. Okay. Then alkenes, they have carbon to carbon double bond, and then example is ethene. So you see here we've got a double bond. Then alkynes, we have a triple bond. Example is ethine. We say we've got 3 bonds here. That's a triple bond. Then alkanes, that is alkyl, we can call them alkyl halides. They contain a halogen to the carbon atom, whereby it could be fluorine, chlorine, bromine, or iodine. Then bromoethane is an example here. Like you see, this X is now bromo here. So the halogen, when we attach it to an alkyl group, we form the alkane, and then the alcohols contain this OH, which you call hydroxyl group. So this hydroxyl group, this the an example is ethanol here. As you can see, we put OH on the 2 carbon atoms here to form ethanol. And then aldehydes, they contain a formyl group, which is this one here. Note this CO is bonded to hydrogen, and then inside we can have what? We can have either H or other carbon chain this side. An example here is ethanol, whereby you can have this methyl attached to this what? This functional group here, so it forms ethanol. Then we have ketones. Now with the ketones, this CO is between carbons, this carbon and this carbon here. An example is propan 2,1. As you can see, it is between this carbon, this CO is between this carbon and this carbon here, so that there it qualifies to be called a ketone. Remember that with aldehydes, it is only bonded to one hydrogen, and then it could be another hydrogen here, or it could be a carbonic chain. Okay, that's how the ketones differ from the aldehydes. Then we have carboxylic acids. Carboxylic acids, we have got this CO bonded to OH. An example is ethanoic acid, and this is the structure here. Okay, and then we have esters. We have this CO bonded to O and then to carbon. So example, we have methyl ethanoate. An example, that's what you hear, this is the methyl ethanoate. Okay, now these are the 9 homologous series and their examples and the structure of the functional groups. Okay, so we are going to look at how to name organic compounds. Okay, now the name of every organic molecule has 3 parts. That means we have the parent name, which indicates the number of carbon atoms in the longest carbon chain in the molecule, and then we have the suffix that indicates what functional group is present, and then we have the prefix that reveals the identity or location and the number of substituents attached to the carbon chain. So we begin with the prefix, then the parent in the middle, and then the suffix. Okay, so this is what we have here. So the prefix means what and where are the substituents, then the parent, how many carbons in the longest chain, and then the suffix, what is the functional group or homologous series. Okay, so here if the carbon chain has got only 1 carbon, we use meth as the parent name, and if it has got 2, we use eth. If it has got 3 carbons, we use prop. If it has got 4, we use but. If it has got 5, we use pent. If it has got 6, we use hex. If it has got 7, we use hept. If it has got 8, we use oct. Okay, so this one gives us the what? The parent carbons. So now in our next video, we are going to talk more about this, and if you are comfortable with what you have discussed, you can try to check out this one here. This was done in 2020, multiple choice. Work it out and come and we discuss the solutions in our extra classes, or you can inbox me if you have got your solutions. Then also this one here is also question 2, 2020 November. You can try it out, you can try to answer it, or you can come and we do it together at our extra classes here in Polokwane Rose Tech College. And then also another question is here, that's multiple choice from 2021, that's last year, May, June. This was done, you can also try them out. And also the question 2 for 2021 May, June, it was also interesting. You can also try it out, or you can come and join our extra classes at Rose Tech College. Okay, alright, thank you so much for watching. My name is Patrick Kamala. I am a tutor and educator for physical sciences and mathematics grade 12. Catch you in my next video. Bye bye.